What's up everyone, thanks for taking another look at my IS300 turbo build. Today's video we're going to be replacing the ball joints. Something that on my car I've never really felt a problem with, but when I do have it up in the air you can definitely see that the boot's torn, especially on the passenger side, and there's a lot of play. So it needs to be done before I start making rips around the neighborhood. And yeah, safety's an issue, so we're gonna do that, and we're also gonna start up the car and double check the coolant temp sensor, make sure that the RTV I put on it the other day is holding strong and that there's no leaks coming from there, and hopefully everything is good to go and we can keep moving forward. So here we go, check it out. All right, so getting ready to remove the ball joints. First thing we need to do is take the wheel off. I've already done that on the driver's side here. And the next step after that is going to be to pull these cotter pins off these capsule nuts here. There's a pin right there too that connects. I believe these are either 19 or 17 millimeter bolts that will need to also come off, and then we'll be able to kind of knock on this and hopefully free it up, and we'll be able to move all the brake and rotor away. All right, so one thing I will mention, once you get your 17 millimeter bolts taken out, there's a little lip right here, so you're not going to pull towards you, you're actually going to lift up and over to get everything out of the way. Okay, so if you go to Harbor Freight, you can get this little tie rod joint, ball joint puller, or punch, press, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this just has a fork on it and it slides under, and it's got an Allen, or not an Allen, but a bolt right here that you tighten down, and it just applies pressure and should pop it off. Okay, so after using that tool and cranking down, this thing popped off pretty violently, so make sure you're aware of that and are prepared for that, because it kind of gave me a little bit of a jump, so just be ready for that. Okay, the next thing here is we're going to do the capsule nut right here on the other part of the ball joint. It is a 3/4 socket. This one happened to be 17 millimeter. So that's next. All right, well, it's been a little bit of a struggle. Haven't quite got this thing off yet. I busted my Harbor Freight tool just by cranking it down so much, and the piece of shit broke. So I don't know how I'm gonna get this off here. I got a couple plans up my sleeve. We'll see what happens here. All right, well, got it off. Told you I had a couple tricks that I was gonna try, and there's the first one right there. My buddy Stan came over and just beat the shit out of it for me, and we got it. All right, so I went ahead and replaced that Harbor Freight tool, and while I was gone, Stan was cool enough to get the other side put on for me, and so we are over here now on the passenger side. Basically all we did so far is just drop the ball joint in, tighten that up just a little bit, and now we're in the process of just putting everything back on the way it was taken off, and this should be good to go here in just a minute. Okay, second ball joint's in. Just remember to put your cotter pins in. It isn't always as easy as it looks. It took us a little bit of moving this around and just kind of wiggling the whole rotor and brake assembly to get it to thread correctly, so just be on the lookout for that if you're doing this on your own. So after running the car for a little bit, we determined that there is no No more coolant leak here, so it looks like the RTV held well and did good job, so that is a plus. These ball joints are all finished now. There's still no oil or any visible sign of any oil coming out of there, so that is positive as well. And yeah, so these are what the old ball joints look like, and you'll understand why they need to be replaced. But this is straight up what I was dealing with. This didn't happen when we took them out. This was already busted out like this, and so good reason to replace them before getting on this car, you know, when it's ready to drive. So just something that needed to happen, and yeah, we're getting there, moving forward. Everything's starting to come together. All right, so lots of good things happening now. Checking everything off the list. I think the next thing for me is I'm going to try and get a 3-inch exhaust set up. I currently had a 2.5-inch, so I'm going to be looking for a 3-inch just to help it breathe more now that it's going to be turbo application. I probably need to get a bass tune because it doesn't idle on its own, and I'd probably like to have that done so that when I do take it to an actual tuner, they're not starting from scratch. They actually have something to work off of, but who knows, we'll see how that works out. But those are the things that are coming up here in the future, and yeah, keep checking it out. Things are getting really, really close. Take care.